moment to talk about something President Biden said during his farewell address. He warned the free press is crumbling in this country. I would add that's only if we, the people, let that happen. Journalists exist to seek the truth, to tell people's stories, to lift up voices that may not be heard otherwise, to shine a light on injustice, and to hold the powerful accountable. We are not the enemy of the people. We are the defenders of the people. Walter Cronkite once said, freedom of the press is not just important to democracy, it is democracy. I want to take a moment to show you something. A woman sent me this sign 8 years ago. She carried it here at a march in Washington. She wrote on the back of the sign, to me and the press here in D.C., you have our support. To Nora, wherever you are, right back at you.
Oh, Jim Acosta, you stupid little man. You're a fool. You are the enemy of we the people. Your lies at CNN as well as MSNBC and hell, these days even several at Fox News, is why platforms like mine have become so successful. The American people no longer trust you lying idiots. The American people trust people like me and many others on social media for their news because we are not politically correct. We do not answer to billionaires, and we're not biased towards one party or the other as you are. We report the truth. If we get it wrong, we take responsibility and we make corrections. You idiots double down on stupid, such as Trump is a threat to democracy, MAGA is racist, white people and Trump supporters are domestic terrorists, America is no better than any other country, cops are racist bigots that just want to murder innocent, unarmed black youth, and Russia collusion, and so forth. The American press is dead. You did this to yourselves, and now you're paying the price. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. You had many places you could be. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. And thank you to everybody that tunes into this show and all my subscribers. It is because of you that I'm going to share this. Despite all the hateful leftist cyber stalkers that have given it their all to shut down this program, referring to me as a social media insurrectionist and a threat to America, because of you, my subscribers, in support of this show, my videos going into 2025 have been viewed 21,529,891 times as of tonight, with a total of 2.4 million hours of watch time. So thank you very much for your support. And here's to 2025, which I believe will be our best year ever. Thank you, and welcome to the live Douglas Ducote Show. Also, a shout out to those that in the background that help make this all possible. My moderators. You guys and girls are the best. We put together a team at the Douglas Ducote Show that are solely for you, the patriots of this country. And we will continue to do just that. For 15 months, the devastating war in Gaza, which saw Hamas kill, injure, and kidnap Israeli citizens, American citizens, and IDF forces, the Biden-Harris administration has tried to broker a deal to bring the hostages home for 15 months. Hamas has said from day one that no deal was possible unless Israel withdrew military forces from the area. This caused the stalemate and the war raged on, with Israel trying to rescue the hostages and eliminate Hamas. The only way to bring peace is for a complete annihilation of Hamas, period. If that does not happen, then the same crap that has been going on for years will continue. Hamas attacks Israel, killing innocent civilians. Israel retaliates, and the world blames Israel. Hamas is supported financially and with weapons from Iran. Iran and Hamas have no respect for, or do they fear, Joe Biden and his weak-ass administration. This is why no deal to release the hostages has taken place. Then along comes Donald J. Trump, who will be sworn into office in just 4 days. Iran and Hamas fear Donald Trump. They've already dealt with Trump when he was past president of the United States. And they understand when he says something or he makes a promise, he follows up with real action. So last week, Trump made the statement that if the hostages are not released before he takes office on January 20th, quote, all hell will break out, meaning that American forces will go into Gaza side by side with Israeli forces and kill every one of these barbaric subhuman terrorists. That statement scared the hell out of Hamas and Iran. That statement forced Hamas to go to the table to negotiate. And so it was. Hamas leaders agreed to sit down in good faith and work out a deal. Israel stopped bombing the shit out of them, pull their military forces back, basically a ceasefire, and release Hamas terrorists for those that Israel has in their custody for the hostages. Sounds simple, right? Stop bombing us, release the terrorists that you have, we give you back the hostages. Well, release the hostages or face death at the hands of the American and IDF at the same time. And Hamas supposedly agrees. Then Biden steps up yesterday to take full responsibility and credit for getting the war stopped and the hostages released. Biden gives no credit to Trump. In fact, when a reporter asked him yesterday if Trump bears any credit for this, Biden responded by asking a question to the question with 4 words, quote, "Is that a joke?" No, sir, you're a joke. The only reason Hamas agreed to anything is they feared Donald J. Trump, not your weak-ass leadership. Then we find out more detail. Supposedly, Trump had a team working side by side with Biden's team to try and broker this deal. Yet Biden says it is a joke that Trump was involved, and he takes full credit. Now, here's the kicker. The deal that supposedly they brokered sucks. First, it's not set in stone, as Biden wants you to believe from his presser last night. Israel's version of our Congress still has to vote on this deal. And they pushed that vote back until Saturday. So Joe Biden, in true fashion, once again lied to the American people and the world by telling you it's a done deal. It is not. Next, let's look at this deal that Biden wants to take full credit for. It's to be carried out in stages. Hamas will release a few hostages once the deal is done. Then 16 days later, release a few more. Then 16 days later, release a few more, and so on until all the hostages and dead bodies, because we believe that half of those that they supposedly have are dead, will be released. What in the hell is that bullshit. Stages. How about you release all the hostages before Trump takes office in 4 days, or you're all dead? There are a few things that I know 100% without a doubt. Number one, Hamas and Iran, just like Russia, China, and North Korea, have no respect for Joe Biden and his administration. That is a fact. Number two, Hamas will never hold up their end of any deal. It is a pipe dream to think otherwise. Number three, Hamas will soon start launching rockets back into Israel like they have been doing for years. And number four, the only way Hamas stops their past behavior is when they are all dead. This is far from over. In fact, Biden and his merry men of fools have only made the situation worse by tying Israel's hands behind their back while they try to eliminate this terrorist group and withholding weapons from them. I would love to see the hostages released in peace between Hamas and Israel, but that will never happen in our lifetime. It will not happen until every last member of this hostage group is eliminated from the face of this earth. And Iran is forced to negotiation table by overwhelming military force. I've said it once before, and I will say it many more times to come. You want peace in the Middle East? You bomb the living shit out of Iran back into the Stone Age, which won't take much. At a minimum, you bomb the shit out of their nuclear program to where they never get a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump has said under his watch, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon because Iran says once they get a nuclear weapon, they're going to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. They're going to give these nuclear weapons to people like Hamas and Hezbollah to conduct their horrible conflicts. And then, if you think for 1 second they won't turn on us with these nuclear weapons, well, then I got some land to sell you in Lake Charles, Louisiana that doesn't flood. So for everyone out there who believes the lies from Joe Biden about this situation, sit back and watch how many hostages are released in 4 days. I'm saying right now that if any, it will only be a few. And I'm going to say probably none between now and Monday. Time will tell. The Biden-Harris administration's U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission announced on Tuesday a lawsuit against Tesla CEO and ex-owner Elon Musk just days before President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. That's right. The Biden administration is filing a lawsuit against Elon Musk. The reason why is simple. Musk took away the far-left liberals' only social media platform by buying it. But that's not what they would like you to know. Instead, in a Tuesday press release, the SEC announced it had filed an action against Musk over claims that he failed to timely file a beneficial ownership report with the commission after acquiring beneficial ownership more than 5% of the outstanding shares of Twitter Incorporated common stock. Couldn't make this up if you tried. The SEC claimed that Musk failed to timely file a report with the SEC, allowing him to underpay for shares by at least $150 million. In 2022, prior to his purchase of X, formerly Twitter, in Tuesday's press release, the SEC accused Musk of violating the beneficial ownership reporting requirements that fall under the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. Boy, did they dig deep for this one. An act from 91 years ago. The Associated Press reported that Musk started acquiring Twitter shares in 2022 and owned over 5% of the company's shares by March of 2022. The Biden-Harris administration SEC claimed that Musk was legally required to disclose his stake in Twitter. And he did. However, he did not do the report until 11 days after he was required to do so. 11 days. He did. But it wasn't him that did it. It was his attorneys that made the 11-day mistake. They still got what they were supposed to have, and it's still within the confounds of law. They then went on to say, after Musk failed to timely file a beneficial ownership report by March 24, 2022, he purchased more than $500 million worth of Twitter common stocks between March 25, 2022, April 1st, 2022, as alleged because Musk failed to timely file a beneficial ownership with the SEC. He was able to make these purchases on Twitter's common stock at artificially low prices from the unsuspecting public, who had not yet priced it in undisclosed material information of Musk's beneficial ownership, more than 5% of Twitter common stocks and investment purposes. In response to the Biden lawsuit, Alex Sapiro, Musk's lawyer, said that the action Tuesday by the Biden administration is an admission that the SEC that they cannot bring an actual case because Mr. Musk has done nothing wrong. And everyone sees this for the sham for what it is. As the SEC retreats and leaves office in 4 days, the SEC's multi-year campaign of harassment against Musk culminated in the filing of a single court case. Ticky-tack complaint against Mr. Musk under Section 13D for the alleged administrative failure to file a piece of paper. An offense that, even if proven, carries a normal penalty of little to nothing, much less $150 million. In a post yesterday on X, Musk tweeted, "Lawfare needs to stop. Instead of fighting real crime under the Democrats, citizens are prosecuted, while serious criminals run free." The Associated Press reported that it's not clear whether the SEC will move forward with the lawsuit against Musk under the Trump administration after SEC Chairman Gary Gensler steps down from his position. Well, I can answer that for you. The answer is no. It's dead on arrival, just like every lawsuit these dumbasses have brought against Donald Trump and his MAGA supporters. Dead on arrival. Not going to happen. Just more waste, fraud, and abuse of our money. Representative Nancy Mace put forward a bill in Congress to make it law that any illegal alien that's come across our border convicted of sex crimes against women and children would be deported immediately after time served. Sounds like common sense, right? Think again. Every Republican member of Congress supported the bill and voted yes. How many Democrats do you think voted no? 140. I'll repeat that. 140 Democrats in Congress voted no to this bill to deport illegal aliens after their sentence is up that committed sex crimes against women and children in this country. The legislation thankfully did pass along bipartisan lines and a 274 to 145 vote. All present Republicans supported the bill, while the opposition was all made up of Democrat lawmakers. If that is not enough proof of what I've been preaching for 10 damn years, that Democrats in Congress care more about illegals than Americans, that I don't know what does. Our country has been ravaged by a horror of illegal immigrants, violently raping American women and girls, Nancy Mace said during debate on the bill. I know the lifelong scars, the irreversible scars these heinous crimes leave behind. Think about this for a minute. Who in their right mind will want to keep illegals who are convicted of sex offenses in America from being deported? I'll tell you who. Pedophiles. All 140 of these Democrats side with the abuse of women and children. And all 140 of these should be removed from Congress once Republicans take control on January 20th. Congress has the ability to not just censor, but to remove them permanently from their position. In addition to deporting immigrants convicted of sex crimes, the legislation would also deem illegal immigrants who admit to domestic violence or sex-related charges or are convicted of them to be inadmissible in the U.S., kicked out forever. Democrats argued that the bill would harm domestic abuse victims who fight back against their partners and broaden the definition of domestic violence to the deterrent of survivors. That's a crock of shit. During debate on the bill this morning, progressive Representative Pramila Jayapal, Democrat, Washington, said the bill does absolutely nothing to address the needs of the American people and widens the highway to Donald Trump's mass deportation plans. Jayapal said it would create a chilling effect for reporting future crimes and empower abusers to go after immigrant women and children. That's a sitting member of our Congress. This coffee mug has more common sense and brain cells than that bitch will ever have. Mace wrote on X during debate on the bill, the left justifying why they are against deporting rapists, pedophiles, and murderers who are here illegally never ceases to amaze me. I agree, ma'am. I'm the same way. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, the number 3 House Republican, also criticized Democrats who voted against the bill. House Democrats vote against H.R. 30 should be seen for what they are, prioritizing criminal illegal immigrants over the safety and well-being of their constituents. It's unconscionable that we have to pass legislation like this, much less have members oppose it. Representative Randy Finstar, one of the Republicans who voted for the bill, argued the Biden administration's border policies made the bill necessary and said the legislation would ensure that any illegal immigrant who commits sex crimes or domestic violence offense is swiftly detained, serves their time, and is deported out of our country. But 140 Democrats said no. As of right now, TikTok is preparing for an immediate and complete shutdown of its services in the U.S. on Sunday, this coming Sunday, the day before Trump is sworn in. According to the report, if the proposed ban goes through, users who log on to the app will see a pop-up message appear. This pop-up will redirect them to a website with information about the shutdown. This would likely mean that users would be unable to view notifications or videos. However, the app will apparently allow users to download their data and personal information following the ban. Now, why is this happening? Because TikTok answers to the Communist Party of China. They regulate what can and cannot be on TikTok. They're using TikTok to spy on Americans. One of many tools in their box. Now, while some will say there is no proof that China is controlling TikTok, let's talk about what TikTok did to me. First, when the Biden-Harris administration started warning about TikTok in bed with communist China, I took them at their word. I deleted my TikTok account. I did not want China using their platform to spy on me or any Americans for that matter. We gave them a choice. You sell TikTok to someone that's not associated with the Communist Chinese Party, or you're not allowed to have your service in our country. And they refused to do that. But a few months later, all of a sudden, the same people that are telling us how China was using the platform to spy on us and regulate what can or cannot be said on the platform puts up a TikTok account of their own. That's correct. Joe Biden in the White House, who's telling us that TikTok is a spying platform for China, get off of it, we're going to ban it, then puts up their own TikTok account. So I figured they're all full of shit. You tell us China can't be trusted and to get off of TikTok, then you turn around and start your own TikTok account. So I started another TikTok account and started posting my content back on TikTok. Well, last month, as many of you know, I posted a video on my YouTube channel, on Rumble channel, on my X, formerly Twitter account, and also uploaded it to my TikTok profile, talking about the drone sightings taking place all over America. I said in this video that considering that China flew a spy balloon all the way across our country and that several Chinese citizens were arrested by the FBI after having flown drones over our military bases and were then captured trying to board flights in San Francisco to get back to China with the information from their drones, that it could very well be true that China is using TikTok to spy on Americans. Within 2 hours of my video being uploaded, my TikTok account was deleted and I was permanently banned from the platform for spreading false information. That's all the proof I need to prove that communist China is without a doubt using TikTok to spy on us. So, unless something changes between now and Sunday, TikTok goes away in America. And I know that's going to upset a lot of people. Get over it. Go to X. Go to Truth Social. Use YouTube, whatever. YouTube, a platform that really needs to be regulated, just the same way that Twitter was, the same way that now Zuckerberg's coming in line with Facebook to do away with all this censorship bullshit. And I'm calling for the Trump administration and members of Congress to go after the YouTube platform. that is dead set on censoring conservatives and Republicans. Are you planning to attend Trump's inauguration on Monday? I will not be in attendance, but I will stream it live, and I hope that you will tune in to my stream and not those of the mainstream media. Now, if you plan to be there in person, keep your head on a swivel and watch your six. A new threat assessment complied by U.S. national security agencies warns that President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration will be an attractive potential target for violent threats. We already know that far-left groups like Antifa plan to be there in disrupting the event. They have made it that known. But the bigger concern is a terrorist attack. Politico reported that the threat assessment, which has not yet been publicly released, warns that individuals with election-related grievances may view Trump's inauguration as their last opportunity to influence the election results through violence. John Cohen, who previously worked as a counterterrorism official and helped plan security for President Joe Biden's inauguration, told Politico, as someone who was involved in planning of the last inauguration, the threat environment was dangerous. As I sit here today, based on the work I've done in the past with law enforcement for the past 4 years, the threat involvement today is even more volatile and more dangerous than it was in 2021. FBI Christopher Wray, who I hate. I literally hate the man. I know that hate's a bad word, and I shouldn't hate anyone. I should just say I dislike him. But no, I fucking hate him. He's an evil bastard who gave a really bad name to the men and women that serve in the FBI. He is a disgrace to law enforcement. And even he has said in the past few weeks and testified in front of Congress that there are sleeper cells in America that came across our southern border thanks to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and this administration that are waiting to kill you and me. According to Politico, law enforcement officials are on high alert for the upcoming event following 2 assassination attempts against Trump during the 2024 presidential campaign, the recent New Orleans terrorist attack, and the recent attack in Las Vegas. Although the recent attack in Las Vegas appears to be, from everything we're being told, and I don't know, there's so much shit that's being hidden under the table with this. I can't nail it down to what facts are with that case. Appears to be a 20th Special Forces soldier who committed suicide. Politico noted that the threat assessment, which was put together by the FBI, the U.S. Capitol Police, the U.S. Secret Service, the Supreme Court's Police Department, and the Washington, D.C. government, outlined multiple violent incidences that could threaten Trump's inauguration, including domestic extremists, foreign terrorists, and lone wolves engaging in bomb hoaxes, vehicle ramming attacks, drone flights, and swatting calls. The threat assessment also warned of potential violence inspired by Iran. According to Politico, law enforcement officials noted that 700,000 Telegram users threatened to assassinate the president-elect just 1 day after the 2024 election in response to a video shared by an organization linked to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Iran. 700,000 put out death threats. In addition to these threats, law enforcement officials have also warned that protests could lead to violence at Trump's inauguration, pointing to groups that have already applied for demonstration permits, the threat assessment stated. Past protests by some of these individuals have involved traffic blockades, trespassing, property destruction, and resisting arrest. During a press conference, Metropolitan Police Department Chief Pamela Smith confirmed that the police department will be reinforced on Monday. Actually, they're starting to come in there now. Roughly 4,000 police officers. Special agent in charge of the Secret Service Washington field office, Matt McCool, noted there will be roughly 25,000 military personnel and law enforcement officials at Monday's inauguration. Addressing the increased security measures, Cohen told Politico, "You're going to see a much more visible and expandable security presence, to including physical security barriers, street closures, uniformed law enforcement deployed, undercover assets being deployed, as well as National Guard members at key places throughout the event." I, for one, hope that this is a nothing burger. And I hope that no harm comes to anybody on Monday or this weekend coming up, or anybody that attends the inauguration. But that's wishful thinking. At a minimum, there's going to be disruption by groups like Antifa. At a minimum. And they're calling on every member of their group across this nation to band together and go to Washington, D.C. for Monday. Now, here's the bigger question. Why is Washington, D.C. giving them permits to protest? If the threat assessment is the highest it's ever been in American history, and this is the FBI, the CIA, the Secret Service, and local, state, and federal law enforcement saying this, and after 2 assassination attempts, why, for this particular day of inauguration, would they sign off on an agreement to allow protest? When you know what happens every single time in this country when the members of Antifa file for protest rights. They do not peacefully protest. Antifa has never peacefully protested. Islamic terrorist supporters do not peacefully protest. Iran doesn't peacefully protest. I'm all for peacefully protesting. Hell, I serve to give you that right. But there comes a time when we have to use common sense, and that's what's lacking in this current administration, is common damn sense. If you know the threat level is skyrocketing off the charts to kill Donald J. Trump and his supporters, you do not approve any protest agreements for the inauguration. You just don't do it. You simply close down that fucking office and you don't approve it. It's fucking simple. It can't get any simpler than that. You just say no. That's their option, to either sign off on it and say, yes, here's your permit to go peacefully protest, or we're not going to give it to you because of the threat environment that we're faced with and the past threats that have already taken place and the past violence and disruption and the destruction of property. You just say no for that day. We're not talking about the Baptist church wanting to get together and protest something, or the Boy Scouts of America wanting to get together and protest something because, you're not allowing us to have transsexuals in our organization, although they're allowing that now. Anybody can be a Boy Scout, but not anybody can be a Girl Scout. Only a girl can be a Girl Scout. Transsexuals can't get in the Girl Scouts, but they can get in the Boy Scouts. Does that make any damn sense to you? This administration, all the people that they put in charge of shit, have failed the American people. Now, look, you can say whatever you want to say about people like me that come on here and tell you the truth and factual information. And I don't make this shit up. This is a combination of common sense, my education, my training in law enforcement and in the military, my real world experiences, and my personal connections in federal law enforcement, state law enforcement, city law enforcement, county law enforcement, Homeland Security, Border Patrol, and the FBI. And I'm telling you that I agree with everything I've heard and everything I've seen and everything we've watched happen to Donald Trump, that they're going to throw everything they have at Monday's event. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that, and I pray that it's peaceful and that violence does not occur. But that's all you can do, is hope and pray. Because the past actions of these groups have proven that they're hell-bent on destruction of our freedoms. So take away one of their freedoms for the day. Just don't approve the permit. Permits get turned down all the time, all across this country, for protest. When they look at it and determine that this organization in the past has been guilty of causing harm and destruction every day across America. There are cities that turn down permits for these protests because they know what they're up to. And they've seen what's happened in the past when you allow them to do it. They don't peacefully protest. They go out and cause disruption and violence. And now, on top of just that, of the local Antifa folks, these same people that are warning us about Monday have been warning us and screaming at the top of their lungs, and I've been reporting it right here on my show, that there are terrorists, Middle Eastern terrorists, that have come across our southern border. There are cells in this country waiting for the moment to activate and kill as many Americans as they possibly can. And the biggest event, and the one that's going to have the biggest bang for their buck, that's going to be packed with the party they hate the most, Republicans and conservatives, is taking place on Monday. So obviously we're not going to give permits for protesting to a known terrorist or members of the Revolutionary Guard from Iran. But if they approve permits for anyone, to include Antifa, knowing their history and knowing the threat level, and then that group commits acts of violence on Monday, those responsible that were too stupid to see this and think outside the box and say no need to be fully prosecuted by our Department of Justice, because it's their own damn fault. And if you think for one moment there are Democrats and liberal Democrats in these positions of power in their last-ditch effort to get rid of Donald Trump and the MAGA supporters aren't gonna waive whatever they can to let as many bad people in there as they possibly can, then you're smoking Hunter Biden crack. Because they're fucked up. They hate us. They hate us more today than ever before. The hate that is coming from the left has not slowed down. The hate that is coming from terrorist organizations has not slowed down. It's gotten worse. They're doubling down on what can we do to disrupt, target, eliminate anyone associated with the Republican Party, conservatives, Donald Trump and his supporters, and MAGA. And that is why these agencies, our intel agencies, are warning that Monday could be a very, very bad, dark day for America. Not because Donald Trump is a domestic terrorist or Donald Trump is the greatest threat to democracy. No, no, not at all. But because Donald Trump is the new sheriff in town that's no longer going to take the bullshit from the left that we've been having to suck up and take and shove down our throats for 4 damn years. So if you're going to be there, and I know several people that are, I've got friends of mine, I've got family members that will be there Monday. My wife and I originally were going to go there. I was going to try and stream live from there. And then I found out that they're going to be, there will be attempts to stop any streaming from taking place except for news media. So the major news media outlets will be able to get satellite uplinks, but everybody else is there. Your cell phones will probably be useless. And so, you know, if you can't use Wi-Fi, if you can't do normal streaming, unless you have a satellite link like the major news media organizations have, then I can't stream it live, but I can legally, which I've already set up to do, have put in my application and everything I needed to do and crossed all my T's and dotted my I's to be able to stream it live to you from the safety of Louisiana and not Washington, D.C. So hopefully you will tune into my live stream, not the mainstream media, and hopefully we're watching it together and we're not seeing violence take place. So if you're going to be there, please be safe. Don't let your guard down. If you see something that's out of place, report it to law enforcement. They're going to be everywhere. Law enforcement officers, uniform officers will be everywhere. National Guard members will be everywhere. Walk up to one of them and say, hey, over here is a backpack all by itself. Over here is a guy with a freaking gun under his coat. Or whatever you see that's not normal, report it. They'll follow up on it. And if it's something of concern, then they take action. If not, then so be it. You're not going to lose anything. You're not going to get in trouble for making a report that you thought was credible and it turns out it's not. Just speak up. That's what has to happen. And not just on Monday. We need to get in a mindset that we're going to do that every day we're out in public until the threat's no longer there. And sadly, that's going to take a long time. How much can Donald Trump get done in 4 years? I don't know. Look what they did to him the last 4 years. They tied him up in court and lawsuits constantly, impeachment inquiries. I don't see that happening again this time because overwhelmingly, we won all three branches of government. The popular vote, the electoral college. How are they going to do it? The House, the Senate, they can't do it. They can't do impeachment inquiries. They can't do none of that shit that they did the last 4 years that Trump was in power. So the whole point I'm getting at is there is a threat. And I've been telling you on this program for a long time. I brought people on this show from Border Patrol, from Homeland Security. I brought members of Congress on this show. I've interviewed them all for you, and they've all told you the same damn thing. We're facing threats right now in America due to our southern border being unsecured and this administration not doing a damn thing to fix it, but allowing it to happen. It's only a matter of time before something takes place in America that's going to make 9/11 look like a fucking fireworks display. And that should be concerning to everyone. I'm not saying cave or give in to the threats and cower off into the corner. No, live your life. Go out and do what you're normally going to do. Don't let them win. But use common sense when you're out there. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Pay attention to your surroundings. Little simple things that I learned in law enforcement. You know, when you go into a restaurant, don't have your back to the fucking door. Sit where you can see the exits. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Simple, basic survival skills that every American needs to have. And that is the only way that we survive. Got any place you can be? You chose to be here with me tonight, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for helping build this channel to where it's at and to where it's going. I really see 2025 being the best year for the Douglas Ducote Show and our team. I'm watching the subscriber list go up daily for the first time in a long time. More people are subscribing to this channel than what was happening where YouTube was unsubscribing them in amounts of hundreds at a time. And I can't thank you enough. Continue to tell your family and friends about this show. Whether you're watching me tonight live on YouTube or Rumble or X, formerly Twitter or LinkedIn, please subscribe to the channel. Let everybody know about it. Share it with your family and friends. Share it on your social media platforms. Let them know if they got little kids that Mr. Doug sometimes says a bad word or two. He's not politically correct. But that's the way we do this. We share the information. We get the information out there. And that's all I'm trying to do. I don't need to do this. I'm not making mega bucks doing this. I've served this country with honor. I've done 4 combat deployments. I've worked in law enforcement. I've seen the worst of humanity and the best of humanity. Yet, here I sit, coming to you on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and now Wednesday nights with my wife, which is totally different from the Tuesday and Thursdays. But the whole point is, I care about this country, and I care about we the people, and I care about our constitutional rights, and I care about our safety and our security and our children's future. And that's why I do this. And will continue to speak up and tell the truth, no matter how much it hurts, until the day they put me in the ground. If anything breaks between now and Monday, I'll either do a video about it or I'll come live and do it. Other than that, hope you will tune in Monday on Rumble, on X, or on YouTube to watch the inauguration of Donald J. Trump on my platform and not the mainstream media. Thank you. God bless you. And always, as always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our Blue and Gold Star families, and our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful and blessed night, my friends. And I'll see you soon. Good night.